All right, all right, all right. We are live. It is 7 p.m. on Wednesday night, and tonight is night one of our 4-day start challenge. So I hope if you are paying attention and you're listening in, that you will definitely drop me a little emoji or a check mark or something to let me know that you're tuning in. And if you happen to catch this after the live stops, let me just really encourage you to throw some comments in. So, a real quick lay of the land is this is a 4-day start small challenge. And again, just throw a little comment in or emoji or something just to let me know if you are watching. So, tonight, what are we doing here, Kel? A start small challenge. And what I'm trying to get across to us is why do we have to wait until January to start? Isn't there that one thing, and some of y'all may be saying, yeah, way more than one, that is just driving you crazy that you really want to get done by the end of the year? That you really want to get done by the end of the year. And I'll keep an eye on the comments because I'd love to hear what it is that you've got in your mind. So we're going to do this challenge. We're going to do tonight, and then the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, will all be at noon Central Time. And I really want you to engage in this because when we work together, we can hold each other accountable and we can get some motivation. Hi, Joan. I've been enjoying watching your pretty pictures of all your jewelry. So tonight, that all I want to do is keep it super simple tonight. What is that one thing or two things? Let's try to pick one that's just driving you crazy. Maybe it's an area of your house that you're tripping over, that you're constantly walking around something because you haven't made a decision on what to do with it. Hi, Sean. So maybe that is what you want to take a look at for the next 4 days. Maybe it's delayed decision making. Are there any perfectionists out there? Oh, I might have a little bit of challenge. Hi, Haley. So I struggle with it. You know, one of the things that I've been working with people on quite a bit this year is progress over perfection. Because you know what happens when we get into perfection mode? We don't get a lot done. We don't get a lot done. And so progress over perfection. I listened to a lady today, sorry for the tissue. I listened to a lady today that this summer had the dream of a podcast. And then guess what? She started taking those incremental steps to find somebody to produce her podcast. She started recording podcast episodes, and her podcast is now on Apple. And it's specifically faith based for people with anxiety and OCD. How cool is that? And when we were talking this morning in a networking group, she was talking about, this summer it just kind of seemed like a glimmer, and here we are. But let's start small tonight. What is that one thing? Feel free to throw something in the comments. What is that one thing that you would love to make sure is done by the end of the year? Maybe it's going through your clothes. Maybe it is, okay, Kelly, I really want to send out Christmas cards this year. Maybe it is something up here. You want to make a decision. You've been putting off some decision making. What is it that you know you want to start on in this challenge? A little bit of the lay of the land. Tomorrow night, I'm going to pick one person to kind of banter back and forth in the comments, and we're going to do some live coaching. It's going to give you a feel for how I do some coaching with people, as well as it's going to give a really special person an opportunity to be coached on something that they're struggling with that they want to get accomplished by the end of the year 2020. On night three, we're also going to then look at roadblocks and distractions because when you set a goal and you decide to do something, guess what's going to happen? Murphy likes to move in. Murphy likes to move in and say, "How you doing? What's happening?" And we all know what I mean is kind of that Murphy's law. But whenever we set a goal, we want to try to, as much as we can, what are those things that might be a roadblock for us? What is it that might be a distraction? For me, I get tired in the evening. And so one of my roadblocks is that I don't plan my evening meals so great. And my husband and I will end up ordering something and then we'll end up eating kind of late. Well, that is a roadblock for me that I want to work on. How can I do a better job of maybe thinking about what I'm going to be eating in the evenings? Now, I've set a goal where I try to be done with my dinner by 8, which has been a really, really hard goal, but I've been working on it. So, roadblocks and distractions are something that we're going to talk about in night three, which is Friday night. And then Saturday, we're going to do a little bit of celebration. We're actually going to talk about what we've been able to think about and accomplish. Was Rome conquered overnight or 4 days or whatever? No, but it's always something where when we get that motivation and that little bit of momentum, y'all, it's amazing. There is a guy I hear him say all the time, an object at rest stays at rest. So what we're trying to do is pick up that ball and move it just a smidge. Many years ago, I had an organizing business and I would go into homes as well as corporate offices and help people organize. I'm curious, how many of you think you're super organized or organization comes easy for you? For some people it does. It comes really easy. And for others, I'd walk into their space and they would throw their arms up and go, I have no idea where to start. Have you ever felt that way? That's why I wanted to do this challenge because maybe you're looking at something that is just so overwhelming and you're thinking, I really would love to have some of this knocked out by the end of 2020. Why wait until January to get started? Wouldn't it be nice to have that knocked out of your plate, off your plate by the end of the year? And you can do it. You can do it. And it's baby steps. It's start small. Some people that are like, go big or go home, I really respect that. But I also know when we start little, then it builds that momentum and gets bigger and we get energy. I don't know about you, but my energy is low some days between the winter weather coming in, kind of the just overwhelm of do I go out? Do I wear a mask? Is it safe to go out? Even with all of that stuff that's probably swirling in our heads, sometimes our energy is low. I recently had a drawer that was in the desk in our kitchen, and every time I'd open it, it was one of those things where I would just kind of open it, cringe to get out of that drawer what I wanted. It was full of pencils and markers. And I mean, it was just an absolute mess. Can I be real? And I kept thinking, what is it that I can do to make that drawer more manageable? Hi, Cheryl. And you know what I decided is start small. There's First thing I did is I took everything out of the drawer and I was willing to just let it be a little chaotic for a day or two. I started sorting like items and started tossing. You wouldn't believe what I tossed out of that drawer. And y'all, within 2 days, just by 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, when I'd walk into the kitchen to take a break from work, I got that drawer completely organized. It was beautiful. And now I open that drawer and I'm kind of proud of it. As a matter of fact, if anybody comes by my house, I might say, hey, come here and look at this desk drawer in the kitchen. Isn't that pretty? Doesn't that look good? Because you know what? I got the momentum. It is the momentum that so many times we need. And that's why I always tell people, even if you want to accomplish something really big, bite size it out and start small. You start to get that momentum. I had a client years ago who had so much clutter in her home. And if this is you, there's no judgment here, y'all. She had so much clutter in her home, you couldn't walk in the front door. The entire front door was barricaded with stuff. She was just overwhelmed with stuff. And she said, where do we start? So we just started doing little tiny sections of her home at a time. And I was so excited. About 2 weeks later, I went to see her. Front door completely available. You could walk in and out of her front door. And I said, what changed? And she said, I got the momentum. By doing those baby steps, something that seemed ginormous, something that seemed like a huge elephant was accomplished and I got that momentum. They always say, how do you eat an elephant? It's such an old term, one bite at a time, but that's actually true. And so that's what our Start Small challenge is. Tonight's night one. We're going to finish up on Saturday. So the next 3 days, we're going to do this at noon Central Time. I want you to tune in. I want you to shoot me a message and tell me, what kind of motivation do you need? What is it that you want to start on so that you've got it done or awful close to done by the time this month is over so that you run into 2021 with that off your plate and out the door. So, it's kind of fun how you can strategically hide things depending on where you're sitting. So you'll see right here, there's this lovely little pile. I decided this year for the first time in ages, y'all, I was going to send out just a few holiday cards to some clients and a couple of other people, and I really limited it to 50. So I was just literally going to say, okay, 50. And then I thought, oh, I need addresses. And so I started picking through that. And again, I was overwhelmed, but you know what? I started small. First thing I did is I ordered the cards. Then I downloaded the addresses out of my Google Drive. And then in little increments, I now have my mailing list almost completely done. I printed my labels. Do y'all see what I'm doing here? I didn't start with doing everything all at once in this big, ginormous chunk of time because I don't have it. And I bet you don't either. Little bitty, tiny steps, progress over perfection. When I printed out the labels, I was like, oh, those aren't perfect. And then I thought, oh, but they're printed. They're going to be going through the mail. It's okay if they're not perfect. It's a return address label. You get where I'm going here? So, what is it that you want to start on tonight? Or at least down. Write down. I'd love to see if you have anything in the comments as well. Write down that one thing that is you're ready. You're ready to give it a couple of incremental steps. You keep walking around a certain pile in your room. There's a certain cabinet you keep opening. There's something in your head where you're like, I am totally putting off making a decision about fill in the blank. I want to help you. I want to be here for you during this challenge. We are better together. And sometimes it just helps to have somebody to bounce your ideas off and get other perspectives. There's a couple people on this call that I do that with, and I will, let them know, hey, I need to verbally process. I need to walk through this and get ideas. Cheryl is a coach that I work with, and I am so thankful for her because I just do my blurting and then we start to put it into some sort of concise clarity. Does that make sense? So shoot me a message here on Facebook. If you've got my email address, it's super simple, by the way. It's just simply kelly@kellyknowles.net. What is it you want to work on for the next 4 days? I'll help hold you accountable. I'll give you some feedback. And if you want a few steps, let's do it. Tomorrow at noon, we're going to do some live coaching. So I hope somebody's going to jump on. Whoever live coaches with me, I'm going to send you a $10 Amazon card. Who doesn't need a little bit of shopping money this time of year, right? And then on the third night, which is Friday, we're going to look at roadblocks and distractions. I've got a special gift for everyone that participates in that. And then I got a finale planned on Saturday at noon. So the next 3 days is going to be at noon Central Time. I want you to jump on. I want you to send me a message. What is it you need to start small on now so that when you hit 2021, that thing is off your plate or you've got a lovely chunk out of your way? Thank you to everyone who popped in for tonight. Hopefully, others will take a look at it as, Facebook likes to float things around. Let me hear from you. Let me know, what do you want to start small on? How can I help? Because I'm here for you for the next 4 days and beyond if we need to. I hope you have a great rest of your night and stay in touch. Let me know, what are you going to start small on? What is it you don't want to go into 2020 dealing with again? I'll see ya.